Mommy and daddy's divorced, and a divorced mom pretty much got nothing. I'm not going to leave my mom by herself. So I'm going to make sure my mother's taken care of. None of my siblings have helped me take care of my mother to make sure she was okay, except for Tamar. No one said,
This is before Vincent.
Before Vincent. Mommy's car insurance is due. Let's help Toni with mommy car insurance.
Or mommy needs a car.
Normally, I would never have a conversation with Trina or any of my sisters about helping out financially with my mom. But because I'm so stressed in that category, I needed to let her know what I felt. Hurts my feelings every day. My feelings hurt every day because I'm in a financial situation myself because I can't work the way.
It looks like Tamar Braxton just went off on her own sister in the boldest way imaginable, and the fallout is getting wild fast. A twist nobody saw coming is now out in the open because Tamar is accusing Toni Braxton of trying to get her hands on money that wasn't hers, and the so-called receipts are stacking up loud. We're talking quiet bank activity, low-key account shifts, and a bankruptcy mess Toni allegedly tried to keep under wraps. But the real shocker is how Tamar found out. According to insiders, this wasn't some lucky catch. Toni's own bank reportedly flagged suspicious moves tied to Tamar's funds, and that's when everything blew up. Tamar is now calling her sister a liar, a manipulator, and someone who crossed a line you don't come back from, leaving everybody wondering how a tight family bond turned into pure sabotage. And here's where it gets serious. For years, whispers about Toni's money problems have been floating around. Old bankruptcy filings, unpaid debts, court battles. Her financial world has always been complicated. But nobody expected things to get this messy with her own sister in the middle of it. Insiders say Tamar recently discovered that Toni had allegedly made a slick move behind her back, and not a small one. She supposedly tried to tap into Tamar's income stream without saying a word.
Family, most of the time, I don't like my family. Everyone in my family.
Take a breath.
Everybody. I feel like I'm angry at everybody in my family. I don't like my family. If they weren't my family, it wouldn't be my friend.
Tamar is livid. Toni is quiet, and the entire situation is unraveling in real time. If you know Tamar at all, you know she does not play about her money, and she made that extremely clear. Multiple sources claim she snapped the moment she learned what Toni allegedly did, and things escalated fast. We're talking legal threats, talk of getting authorities involved, and a wave of frustration nobody could ignore. Anyone who's followed the Braxton family already knows tension between the sisters has been simmering for years. Tamar has bumped heads with pretty much everyone at some point. So if Toni really pulled something behind her back, this might be the moment that sent everything over the edge. One thing about Tamar, she doesn't hold her tongue when she feels disrespected. She speaks loudly, clearly, and without filters. And she's been telling people what Toni did wasn't just wrong, it was downright sneaky. As for Toni, people close to the family say she's been juggling financial struggles for a long time because she's always taken on the role of holding everyone together. That pressure has followed her for years. But there's also the other side, Toni's expensive taste, private jets, designer labels, sprawling homes, luxury trips, the full superstar lifestyle. She loves the finer things, and she's never pretended otherwise. So when money started getting tight, instead of scaling back, it seems she may have looked for ways to keep that lifestyle alive. And if the insider talk is real, she might have crossed a boundary with her sister to protect that image, which explains why Tamar is fuming. But here's where things get heavier. Toni has been the one covering their mother's bills for years, and she's openly said so. She mentioned Tamar helped at times, but most of that responsibility still landed on Toni and stayed there. So when you mix the pressure of caring for their mom with maintaining that luxury lifestyle, it's easy to see how things spiraled. Add in Toni's famously pricey habits, plus their mom's expensive needs, and the picture becomes clearer. Toni might have been running dangerously low on funds, and that's when insiders say she allegedly turned toward Tamar's money stream. Nobody knows exactly how she managed it, but whatever she did broke a major boundary, and Tamar didn't hesitate for a second before responding. She snapped into full protective mode. You don't mess with her finances, period. And then came the part nobody expected. Toni has never been shy about her feelings toward her sisters. In one interview, she flat out admitted she often doesn't even like them. Not just annoyed by them, but genuinely doesn't like them. Hearing that just fueled the fire even more. If tension was already simmering, this money scandal didn't just push it, it blew the door clean off. And that's before we even get into Tamar calling Toni out in public more than once. She's aired a lot on social media, including a post where she wrote, "None of the gaslighting is crazy, and I'm going back into treatment, but I'm so mad at my life. My family is toxic. I should have never gone back to Braxton family values. Never. I'm going through it. I'm single and sad, and this TV stuff is a lot." That post had everyone staring wide-eyed. And that wasn't even the whole story, because Tamar has Toni blocked half the time, and the internet has seen it. Last year on Tamar's birthday, Toni posted the picture saying, "Wanted to repost the gorgeous picture of you, but I'm blocked again. Anyways, happy birthday, Tay." Tamar wasted no time clapping back. "I block my sisters all the time. Y'all work on my nerves." Then she jumped right back under Toni's post and added, "Or you could have called. Gaslighting?" She wasn't finished. Tamar fired off another message that had everybody talking. "Y'all gonna stop playing with me? It's my birthday." The whole thing turned into a full-blown family circus. Each comment made it painfully clear these sisters are far from peaceful. Tamar went on, "I'm celebrating with my friends and not bothering a soul. You did it to be mean, like we don't talk. Happy birthday to me anyway. Love you too." And just like that, everyone could see how deep this tension runs. These two have been struggling for years, and the back and forth has never truly died. So Tamar calling Toni out now, especially over money, isn't surprising at all. What is surprising is the idea that Toni Braxton would even need to pull something like this. She's a legend, a music icon, someone people view as certified superstar status. You wouldn't expect someone with her resume to be dealing with financial chaos behind closed doors. But the truth is, Toni has a long, messy history with money, and once you start connecting dots, things line up fast. Back in the 90s, Toni was everywhere, hit after hit, platinum records, sold-out tours. She was earning major money and ruling the charts, yet she lost almost everything. Not once, but twice. Her first bankruptcy in 1998 shocked the entire industry. No one could understand how someone that successful could suddenly be broke. She was at her peak, and the announcement hit like a bomb. And things didn't magically fix themselves after that. The financial issues followed her for years. Instead of fading, they got louder. Headlines got messier, the media piled on, and the pressure crushed both her career and personal life. One moment she was on top of the world, and the next she was fighting to rebuild from back-to-back financial disasters. And then came the moment nobody expected. Toni sat down with Oprah to explain everything, and the whole interview went left instantly.
She was so freaking mean to me. I was in shock.
Do you take responsibility for the situation that you're in right now?
100%.
100%.
100%. I couldn't believe it because I loved her so much. I admired her and looked up to her. And she pretty much reprimanded me. And immediately, she made me feel this big. This big. That moment completely changed my career. It made people look down on me.
Oprah started pressing her with real questions about where all that money went and highlighted the choices that pushed her into debt. Instead of explaining anything or taking accountability, Toni completely shut down. She got teary, said Oprah was being harsh, and slipped right into the victim role. The whole exchange was uncomfortable to watch, and what was supposed to clean up her public image only made the situation look even messier. Toni did manage to bounce back after that first bankruptcy, and for a moment, it looked like she finally had things under control again. The music was still rolling, the spotlight still followed her, and everyone thought she'd regained her balance. But that calm didn't last long. The problems came creeping right back. In 2010, she filed for bankruptcy again, and this time the numbers were even more alarming. Reports say Toni claimed she owed somewhere between $10 million and $50 million, leaving everyone stunned all over again. She said the breaking point was when her Las Vegas residency was suddenly canceled right after she was diagnosed with a serious heart condition, and that shutdown rocked her finances hard. But that wasn't the only disaster piling up. Behind the scenes, business deals were falling apart, management issues kept popping up, and more money was slipping away than anyone realized. By the time everything collided, the financial hole was massive, setting the stage for all the chaos she's dealing with today. Insurance claims weren't going through, fights over coverage got ugly, and unpaid taxes were stacking up in the background. One crisis after another hit her, and eventually, her entire financial foundation collapsed again. Since then, Toni has been trying to stay afloat, but the numbers have been telling the real story loud and clear.
I think it's when I was first diagnosed with having lupus, I was so down, I was so depressed, and the doctors told me I would never be able to work again, your music career's over, but the man upstairs that had a whole other plan for me.
The music simply isn't hitting the way it once did. Her last album barely pushed around 7,000 copies and only climbed to number 163 on the Billboard 200. Shocking for someone who used to dominate those charts without even trying. The project before that didn't fare much better, landing around 16,000 copies. For an artist with her legacy, those numbers were a major warning sign. With album sales dropping so hard, most of her income ended up coming from the Braxton family's reality show, but even that started slowing down. The buzz faded, ratings slipped, and without consistent press moments or new music-making waves, the pressure behind the scenes kept building. And that's when fans started asking the bigger question. Was her connection with Birdman really love or survival? Because the timing had people raising eyebrows. Right when whispers began that Toni might be on the edge of another bankruptcy, she suddenly resurfaced beside Birdman. And this was after years of distance, barely speaking publicly, giving no hints of a reunion. So when she popped up with him out of nowhere, fans were instantly thrown. People couldn't help wondering if this was a genuine romantic rekindling or Toni trying to secure stability at a moment when everything around her was crumbling again. The timing felt way too convenient, and now a lot of fans are convinced this wasn't some sweet old love story returning. It looked like strategy. And honestly, the timing was wild. When Toni and Birdman suddenly reappeared together in 2023, everyone got whiplash.
Okay, you're engaged.
I'm engaged. He did good, right?
He did well, right? Very well. Take a game.
She had spent years saying they were totally done. No mixed signals, no maybe someday, nothing. She made it crystal clear a reunion was impossible. So when she flipped the whole narrative and started getting close to him again, fans immediately felt something didn't add up. And now that Tamar is speaking out and spilling things publicly, people are starting to connect the dots. Even before this new wave of drama, fans had already sensed something off between Toni and Birdman. A lot of folks picked up on it during that painfully awkward Tamron Hall interview in 2022. Toni was on the show to talk about her lupus diagnosis. The conversation was meant to be soft and emotional. But the moment Tamron mentioned Birdman, everything shifted instantly. Toni froze. She barely made eye contact. The mood in the room snapped tight. You didn't need a body language expert. Anyone watching could feel the tension. Her entire vibe changed, and it left fans wondering if something was happening behind the scenes she didn't want exposed. And now that Tamar is dropping new details, people are realizing they might not have been imagining anything. But then the situation escalated even further. According to Tamar, Toni allegedly sold her engagement ring from Birdman, the same ring she told the public was lost, to cover major debts. And remember how huge that ring moment was? Back in 2018, when Birdman proposed, he showed up with a massive yellow diamond, reportedly worth around $5 million. It was flashy, dramatic, and the whole internet went crazy. For a second, it looked like a fairy tale ending was coming, but then everything went silent. No wedding updates, no real plans, nothing. The date kept getting pushed back, then postponed, then practically erased. Toni blamed timing, but fans weren't buying it. Then came the biggest red flag. The ring disappeared. Toni said she accidentally left it in a bag on a flight. The bag came back, but the ring didn't. People were confused, but they let it go. Well, Tamar is hinting at a very different story. She claims Toni didn't lose that ring at all. She allegedly pawned it to cover debt she couldn't climb out of. And honestly, it wouldn't shock anyone. Toni's money history has been shaky for years, and plenty of industry folks have whispered that she's been in a tight financial bind for a long time. If things were truly that serious behind the scenes, she might have needed quick cash and made a move she hoped no one would question. Word floating around says Toni did what a lot of desperate people do when the walls close in. But now that Tamar is talking, everything is spilling out fast. She allegedly sold the most valuable thing she had, that $5 million ring, just to stay afloat. But it doesn't stop there. Fast forward to now, and it looks like Tamar wasn't the only one Toni may have tried to pull something on. Reports say Toni filed for divorce from Birdman just 2 weeks after they secretly married. She claimed they separated only 2 days after the wedding. But here's where everyone stopped breathing. Multiple sources say Toni allegedly tried to walk away with a $160 million divorce payout. Think about that. Married less than a month, together just days, and already pushing for a massive piece of Birdman's empire. Fans were stunned. Some called it strategic, others called it gold digger energy. Either way, the math wasn't mathing, and the internet refused to let it slide. People started questioning if this entire relationship was a setup from the beginning, a way to escape the financial hole she'd been stuck in for years. So now the real question is, was any of this truly about love? Or was Toni aiming for a comeback through a massive payout? Because walking out of a marriage after 2 days and reaching for millions left fans confused, suspicious, and wondering if this was survival disguised as romance. Everything around Toni's life is starting to look more tangled than anyone realized. And this divorce bomb only put a brighter spotlight on her finances. $160 million. That's the part no one can wrap their heads around. The whole situation feels off. Like, how do you leave a marriage that fast and still feel entitled to that kind of fortune? It makes people wonder if something deeper is happening behind closed doors, something Toni hasn't said out loud. A lot of fans are now saying this never looked like a love story at all, and with Toni looking more financially desperate than ever, the numbers just don't line up. It feels bigger than a simple money problem, almost like there's heavy chaos in the background she's trying to hide. And now that Toni's own bank has reportedly confirmed bankruptcy concerns, it's not just Tamar talking. There might be real receipts backing this up. At this point, it's looking less like Tamar is attacking and more like she's exposing. And if Toni truly tried to finesse her own sister on top of everything else, that's not just messy, that's betrayal on a whole different level. Because if she'd do that to family, imagine what she'd do to anyone else. One thing is clear, this story is nowhere near over, and the fallout is about to get even louder.